meeting to order at 9:03. And we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance, led by Mr. Green.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, special presentations. Looks like we have none.
I think she has to.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Do the roll
Go ahead
call.
and take roll first. Sorry.
Okay.
I'm a little rusty.
That's fine. Carr. Cruz.
Here.
Frost. Here. Guerra.
Here.
Hanson. Harris.
Here.
Kennedy. Lee.
Here.
McGlashan. Here. Natoli. Peters. Cerna.
Here.
Starsky. Terry.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. Special presentations, we have.
She needs to read her
Okay,
statement.
and I'm going to read the announcement here. This meeting of the Sacramento Metropolitan Air Quality Management District is cablecast live without interruption on Metro Cable 14, the local government affairs channel on Comcast, Consolidated Communications, and AT&T Uverse. This meeting is being closed captioned and will be webcast at www.sacmetrocabletv.tv. Today's meeting will be repeated on Sunday, July 31st at 4 p.m. on Channel 14. Members of the audience wishing to address the board may fill out a speaker form located on the table at the back of the chambers and give it to the clerk. Please speak into the microphone when addressing the board and state your name for the record. Also at this time, please silence your cell phones until the conclusion of today's meeting. And the first item is the Air Pollution Control Officer's report.
Good morning.
Good morning.
As I got off the plane last night from Victoria, British Columbia, I was thinking about how hot today was going to be, and I'll talk to you a little bit later about how that's impacting our air quality. First, I'd like to introduce a couple of new employees. We hope to be doing this a lot over the next year. First is Mark Lotzenheiser. Mark, just wave. Mark is selected as a new division manager for the Program Coordination Division. He's replacing Bridget. Mark brings a wealth of experience to this new assignment. He's worked as an inspector, an engineer, program coordinator in the Station Resource Division, program supervisor in the Mobile Source section of the Columns Division. So he's had a whole range of management experience in the district in various divisions. He's also worked as an air quality engineer in the San Joaquin Unified Air Pollution Control District. He has a degree in chemical engineering from UC Berkeley. I look forward to working with him. He brings a great experience, and his experience in different divisions has already helped a lot in understanding how we cross-level between divisions in different work areas in the district. So we're glad to have him on board, and we're actively recruiting for his former position now. Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Terry Duarte. Terry is she's joined our district as a planner analyst in the Lutrans division in May. She's worked for us previously on a shared basis through the county as a public health community design specialist from July 2009 to June 2010. She has a master's degree in public health from UC Berkeley and a bachelor's degree from San Jose State University. Prior to working here, she was director of Walk Sacramento, a nonprofit organization whose mission is to promote community walkability throughout Sacramento. She's also worked for the WIC program through Sacramento County Department of Health from 1988 to 2011. She was the program manager for that program. She's also brings a tremendous skill in health to our planning area. She's a member of the advisory committee for Walk Sacramento. She's a lecturer on public health and community design with the City of Sacramento Planning Academy. She's a member of the UCD Center for Sustainable Communities Advisory Committee, and she's on the advisory committee for the Sacramento Tree Foundation. So she brings a real depth of knowledge from the community and a long period of work here with the community to us. So we're very happy to have her on board. The next thing I'd like to mention is we have again received the Certificate of Achievement for Excellence in Financial Reporting from the Government Finance Officers Association. We are very happy to receive this again, and it looks at our financial process, and particularly our board reporting back and forth to you, and says that we're doing a great job in that respect. And the last thing here I'd like to mention is Adventures for Charity. Our charity committee had an event called Adventures for Charity to raise money for the district's sponsored charity, Sierra Forever Families. It was a 4-week process event from April through the beginning of May. Each of the district's divisions participated as teams to earn points by taking pictures of them competing in specific adventures oriented around outside activities and health. These encourage team building, health and wellness, promoting air quality friendly activities such as riding bikes, walking, recycling, and riding public transit. And I'm going to show you some photos here in just a minute of some of our employees. We had a total of 75 employees who participated, and we raised over $2,000 toward Sierra Forever Families. So if you'll go up here, so you'll do this. This was a stationary source team, and then the admin team, columns team, and the program coordination. They had to do a team cheer also as part of this. So we didn't think we would show you those, but they were pretty funny. Played kickball, hanging from monkey bars, division barbecue, planted a low VOC tree, Bike to Work Month event, participating in that. So there were a whole range of activities, and the teams could go out and get points for doing these things. And they had to take a photo of themselves with their team little logo thing whenever they did that. I went to Pet Palooza over in Citrus Heights. So we had a lot of interesting activities, very intense, and like I said, we raised $2,000 for our charity, and the district employees really stepped up on this. We had a great time. So I wanted to show you something that we did sort of outside of the normal things that we present to you here. And that is all I have for the APCO's report.
The next item is the consent calendar, just items 1 through 3.
Do I have any public comment or commissioners that wish to comment on the consent?
Move consent.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. The consent agenda is adopted. Okay, item 4, public hearing.
Yes, item number 4 is a public hearing. Conduct a public hearing and adopt a resolution approving the proposed revision to the state implementation plan to incorporate reasonably available control technology for 2 flares at the Kiefer landfill, and finding that the state implementation plan revision is exempt from the California Environmental Quality Act.
Okay, good morning. My name is Kevin Williamson. I lead the Rule Development Group at the district. The item I'm presenting today is to revise the SIP to include reasonably available control technology, or RACT, for 2 flares at the Kiefer landfill, which is operated by Sacramento County Department of Waste Management and Recycling. The Clean Air Act says that ozone non-attainment areas have to include reasonably available control technology for all major sources of VOC. In January of this year, EPA determined that our district does not meet RACT for 2 flares at the Kiefer landfill. As a result of that decision, we need to include reasonably available control technology for those flares to correct the deficiency. So we're proposing to correct that deficiency by submitting a revision to EPA to include in the SIP the local permits for the flares, and they'll meet RACT requirements because of the standards that are already in those permits are stringent enough to meet RACT. Only the VOC conditions that are the ones that will be submitted. And the flares are required to meet a destruction and removal efficiency for VOC of 98%, or alternatively, emit no more than 20 ppm of VOC. We're including some other permit conditions that are used to enforce the VOC limits. The requirements that we're submitting to include in a SIP are already enforceable by the district under the existing local permits. So we're not adding any additional requirements. As a result, there won't be any cost impacts or emission reductions associated with the action today. We followed the normal outreach process to inform the public and agencies of today's action and also the hearing. Our recommendations to the board today are to conduct a public hearing, determine that the SIP revision is exempt from CEQA, and then adopt the resolution approving the SIP revision. Thank you.
Thank you. So we'll open the public hearing. Do we have any public comment on this?
No.
Any comments from commissioners? I'll close the public hearing. Do I have a motion?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
All right. Next item is the staff report. Item number 5, receive report from the Executive Director, Air Pollution Control Officer on District Management Retreat held in June 2016.
Okay, I did want to mention some people who helped out with the Adventures in Charity event, especially recognize Janice Lamb-Snyder, Kevin Robinson, Jose Lerma, Victoria Pena, Sandy Rosemont, and Joe Carl. There was many people that worked on this, but they were the team that sort of engineered this and made it happen throughout that month. I wanted to give the board a summary of what we did. We had a 2-day management retreat where our senior management and then some of our next level management came out. We have a lot of actions going on over the next year and the next 5 years, and we felt like it was really important to have a good basis for moving forward in those areas, and I wanted to report to the board about that. The first thing is our strategic direction for the district. This is a document we developed a number of years ago. It is a living document, and we spent a fair amount of time going through and cleaning this up and ensuring it said what we wanted to say about what the district's vision, mission, core values, and strategic goals are. This is an important document because we use this every day in how we do our work, but it's also our guide whenever we're out hiring people. We look for people who can do these actions, particularly core values of integrity, teamwork, leadership, and innovation. That's the kind of thing we do when we're developing questions for people, when we do interviews and so on. We think about those standards. And we've had a lot of input from many people in the district in getting to this point. I wanted the board to see this. Let me know if you have any comments about it. I'll be back next month for my evaluation, and if you have any thoughts and so on about this particular document, I would welcome your ideas. We also talked, of course, about our ozone and PM planning. As you saw there, our mission is to achieve the state and federal clean air goals. We're reminded of that when we have summer days at 105 degrees. And our PM 2.5, we've attained a standard. We're preparing an attainment plan. But of course, we're going to be watching fall results because as we go into a La Nina year, we have a tendency in those years to have long dry spells. If you remember, a few years ago we had no rain in December, and a couple of years ago we had no rain in January. Those kinds of months really raise the PM and cause us potentially to go back into non-attainment if we aren't careful. So continuing our work on particulates and also on our wood stove programs is very important in making sure that we stay in attainment over time. So check before you burn is very important this fall. We also have a toxic study underway that some of you have been working with us on, and low-income areas in Sacramento, and that's particularly focused on wood smoke to see if in the more affluent areas and the poor areas there's any difference in the air quality impacts from wood smoke in those areas. We have been working for years to go out and incentivize wood stoves and get people to clean up their wood stoves and go to gas. We've had less of an ability, less success in going to low-income areas and getting the program there. We have a grant application we're working on right now that hopefully will help us to penetrate those areas even more. And we essentially pay the full cost for those. Even paying the full cost, it's hard to go into the community and get those changeovers made. So we're still struggling to work on that, but we have some ideas. On ozone, we're making progress. We have attained the 85 part per billion standard, and we will be doing an attainment plan for that. We're preparing a state implementation plan for the 75 standard that will be back to the board, to this board in January. And that's a regional plan. That will be the plan which will show how we will get to the 75 parts per billion number by 2026. And I think the board will be happy to see that. However, again, we're reminded when we have 105-degree days and we have spare the air days, just how tenuous this is. And we've had some pretty high readings at the monitors, particularly in Folsom, Slough House even, and in downtown at El Paso. So we're watching it very carefully over the next couple of months. These are major initiatives that we talked about at our event. First, succession planning. We have a lot of retirements underway. Of course, mine is one that's pending there. And we really want to ensure that we have people in the queue to come up and step forward, like when Mark was able to step forward to take Bridget's position. We need people in the district that we've trained and are ready to move forward. And we like hiring within the district, but we only hire people that are competent to do the job. And we're very careful to try to ensure that if we promote somebody from within, they really are able to do the job. And looking at that particular piece has a lot of elements, and you'll see some of that as I go through the rest of this. My transition plan, I'll be back to the board next month and talk about that, the timeline for that. We will be doing a classification and compensation study. We'll be hiring a firm. We have an RFP ready to go out to look at that. We do that every 3 years prior to going into negotiations with the employees to ensure that all of our positions are still marketable out there in the market. And we're beginning to see in this market, I would say 2 years ago it was very easy to hire somebody. Now it's getting harder as our rate goes down when we look at the unemployment rate. And we'll have contract negotiations coming up this fall in the December-January timeframe. We have 8 positions open right now at the district, and we expect more coming up. So we're hiring positions actively, and we'll be doing that over the next year at least. We'll continually have hiring actions out underway. The systems integration project, Jamil will go over that in the next couple of slides after this one. This is a really important project, and I wanted to remind the board that what we're trying to do here is to streamline our operations, to increase efficiency, to improve accuracy of our processes and what we do, and also to provide better customer service out to the customers who come in and look at our website. We're doing some work on our building refresh. We have some painting going on, carpet. We're trying to replace some of the windows on the side where the sun hits the building. The rest of the windows are fine, but those windows really do heat some of the rooms up on that side. And as you know, we have a lot of old monitoring sites that are leaking, causing problems with the equipment. So we're in an active program to replace 2 sites and to look at several other ones. So I'll turn this over to Jamil to go over where we are on the systems integration project.
Good morning, Jamil Moons, Admin Services Manager with the district. This is just sort of a review. All of you have seen this before, but I wanted to get you an update on the status of the different projects and remind you what they are. So these are all related to automation, integration of our different systems and our business processes. Pretty much everything we do at the district is going to be touched and incorporated into sort of a new application to some degree. The first one that's going to go live is a public website. We're working on that. The contractors are on the ground, the vendors. We have made a lot of progress on that, as well as an intranet and extranet site, which will help facilitate work among district members. The next software application is agenda management, and that's our current board process that will affect this board. It will be where we keep our board packets and materials, not only for the board of directors, but also for our hearing board and another one of the basin control districts to facilitate that. And we are looking forward to that, and I know the clerk of the board is also looking forward to that tool. In addition, our performance evaluation and development system. We are kind of going from a paper-based Word document where we fill that out, and we're incorporating it into our existing payroll system. We have ADP, very robust, powerful system, so we're developing a module whereby we can do our performance evaluations, document the development opportunities and goals for our staff, and evaluate those on an annual basis and workflow those through approvals on an automated basis. The next piece that we're going to launch here in the winter time is our communication system, which is Skype for Business. It's going to help facilitate communication, web meetings, quick instant messaging, integrate our Outlook with our phone systems, a lot of, again, automation, just bringing communications up to par. The two big applications for the district are the last two here. The first one is the enterprise financial system and the line of business. Both of those went out to RFP, and in both instances, we did not have the response that we wanted. Therefore, we did a little research project. We reached back out to some of the firms that downloaded it and some firms we thought would be good candidates, and got really, really good feedback on that. And we put an addendum out and just reissued both of those RFPs, making some changes. We learned a lot from that process, and we're hopeful. And the feedback from the vendors is, one was timing, and the other one was just clarification on some of the requirements. We made those, and we're hoping for a much more robust response to that, so we can really have some good vendors to look at in terms of selecting a final solution and implementer for those too. So the ERP system closes in August 22nd, and a week later, the line of business closes. So we will be busy reviewing those applications and trying to select some vendors for that project, and then we'll kick those off. Some of the near-term tasks that we're working on is this migration of all of our existing web pages over to the new system. That's a lot of work because we're not just picking it up and moving it over. We're actually reviewing, editing, reintegrating, linking it where it makes most sense for our readers and our customers coming to our site. So that's a big effort, and that's currently underway, and we're probably 50% done with that migration over to the new system. The next one is the agenda management software. Our vendor has sent us back the first half of it, which is the development of the reports and the board items. We'll be reviewing that and workflowing, and the workflow to that, when that's signed off, we'll go look at the minutes, the back half of that, and that should be ready to go in about a month's time. The performance evaluation system is being configured, and we should have that in the next couple weeks to test, make sure it meets our requirements. Along with all of this, of course, is training staff. We need to make sure staff is well-versed in each of these systems, so we have training scheduled. All of this effort requires all district resources in addition to their current job, so everyone is working really hard. It's very demanding right now, and everyone has had a fantastic attitude, has been very responsive, so our project team is very happy with their efforts and their contributions. Again, I already mentioned the closing of those RFPs, and meanwhile, we do have a finance consultant. The board authorized that earlier, and under Larry's authority, executed agreement with Domain Experts Corporation. They're on the ground now documenting many of our financial processes, particularly the complexity in our grants and our revenue flows, to tie those from the money in the door to the money out the door, and our ability to respond to grantors and administrative reporting. So they're mapping all of that, so we're ready to go when we get that ERP solution, that we can find the best practices way to integrate our financial system. So they are in the building as we speak, working on that. With that, I'm going to pass it back to Larry. Thank you. Oh, I'm sorry. You'd like me to speak to training. Okay. Very briefly on the training efforts. In addition to all the automation, we are really gearing up our training of staff. We have a leadership program underway. We've had a couple classes go through it already with great feedback. It is open to all staff in the district. We believe that all staff can be leaders, not just supervisors and managers, and I think the district has responded to that. We are going to have probably 80% of our staff going through through that. We have 3 more classes coming in the fall that they'll be participating in. And then next year, starting in January, we will launch a Leadership 2, which is more tailored to the specifics of leadership as it pertains to supervising staff and management. And all of our leadership team will be included in that training, as well as other district employees who may be interested in participating in that training. In addition, with our new performance management system, we want to re-talk to staff about what does it mean to be reviewed, what does it mean to give a review, how do we facilitate that conversation in a really productive way. So we will be training all employees in both receiving and giving a review so they know the expectations no matter which seat they're sitting in that process. Human resources for supervisor, we also recognize that our supervisors need to be very well versed in the legalese around human resources. What can I say to my staff? What can't I say? How do I document attendance? What do I need to know about FLMA, all those types of things. So we're bringing a full day training in for our supervisors and our leadership team on human resources and the law, as we're calling it. Active shooter, it's actually, we're not training staff in being active shooters, but we are training staff in having active shooter awareness, so there's a word missing there. We have contracted with an expert in this field. He'll be coming in and providing staff with some more awareness, but given the activity that's going on in the world, actually, to just make sure our staff is aware and understands their options and how they handle those situations should that ever come to pass. And hopefully that would never happen, but we want everybody to be aware. The last one is just our regular ongoing. These are just particular trainings that we're bringing and emphasizing, but we, of course, have all of our ongoing annual safety trainings, harassment, diversity, technical training for all of our staff on a regular ongoing basis. Thank you.
And lastly, I wanted to talk to the board very quickly about our climate-related activities. There's an enormous number of actions going on at the state and federal level with regard to climate. It's almost impossible just to even map all of the things that are happening. At the state, we're actively engaged in working with the work at Air Resources Board on the scoping plan and the short-lived climate pollutant plan. Both of those plans, while they're plans at the Air Resources Board, end up being programs that affect funding, affect work that we do at the district, and it's very important for us to be engaged in those processes. For example, in the short-lived climate pollutant, we're trying to ensure that wood stoves and wood smoke reduction is an important part of that. So that's the kind of thing that where we take district, local programs, what's happening here, and make sure the state is ready and prepared to work with us as these plans go forward over the next number of years. We've talked to you that we have received a couple of grants from cap and trade funding specifically to the district, one on car share and another on electric school buses. We're watching carefully what happens in the budget process with the trailer bills, because that needs to be funded this year out of the cap and trade money. If that gets funded, we've already received the grant and been approved for that. So our school districts, Elk Grove, Sacramento, a couple of school districts here in Sacramento are very excited about that, and we really hope that we're able to move that forward. Also in adaptation work, we've been very pleased with the work that's happened with the CRCRC, the Capital Region Climate Readiness Collaborative. I wanted to show you, these are the members of that collaborative. You can see we have a wide range of organizations, from business to the city of Sacramento, the county, over into Yolo County, Sac County, Valley Vision, Sacramento Tree Foundation. The reason why that's important is when we end up working on grants or we're working with the state, it's good to have that group of people to pull from when we very quickly have to pull a grant together or work with something like SMUD. We have a grant underway that's going to close today. We hope to have that in. It's a $280,000 grant to do some work down on Franklin Boulevard with that community. We are working with SMUD on a Cool Roofs program, and then we're working with the county on their hazardous management plan that they have some work that's underway. They have to update that every 5 years or so. And we have, of course, with climate involved there, we want to ensure that that plan recognizes what's happening at the state and local level in other areas. So that team of people is very vital to us having the right expertise to go in and make comments and work on that. So that concludes my presentation on the retreat, and if the board has any questions, I can answer those now.
Any questions? Thank you.
Okay. And that's, I think that's everything.
Do we have any public comment?
No, we do
Nope.
not.
Okay, any comments from the directors? Seeing none, we're adjourned.